Hello, everyone. EDGYTIM calling, talking, speaking to you from the headquarters, and hope everyone's doing well as we continue to venture forward this fall in what I am calling the least fun fall that I can ever remember. Let's be honest. Um, no football this fall. Fridays absolutely suck. Um, I try to avoid my phone and Twitter as much as possible on Fridays because after a while, getting to see all the states surrounding us playing football and having fun, and it's tough. Even there were some of the games on ESPN. I tuned in for a little bit, but I'm not gonna lie, I really didn't stick with them because it's kind of too hard to watch. I mean, I'm just being totally honest with you. So again, still trying to stay positive. The contact days are upon us, and I know some programs are going back to work, getting some team camp in, and that's exciting. And starting a little bit later this week, I'm going to get out to some schools and try to get an eyeball view of a little bit of football, well, as much as football is allowed to get in at this point. But so we have that to look forward to over the next month or two. So other things coming up, we begin our Sunday series, showcase series with EFT up in Skokie. That begins this Sunday. Very limited spots available for this Sunday, so you can try the online registration tool. But generally, folks, as we've mentioned very early in this process when we announce these dates, they are very limited for obvious reasons with social distancing and masking. We are following all the protocols, which means no large groups, and we are going to manage that, and we are going to do it the right way and get it done. So that is our approach, and that is not going to change. I know others are running camps. I have no idea how they're going to do things. That is not my concern. My concern is for you, the player, for your son, and everyone else participating. We're going to do it the safe way. We're going to follow the same protocols that the high schools have to follow right now, and that's the world we're stuck with. Okay, so some various things I wanted to address, and really they're kind of all intertwined here. So the one thing that I've kind of been back and forth on quite a bit, whether to address this or not. But I feel the time is now because, well, I'll get into it, and hopefully it'll take you where I'm trying to lead you. So last night there was a student slash parent gathering, a protest, and God, I hate using that word in this day and age, but a rally, let's call it. There we go. Rallying for high schools and kids and parents to get activities back, get high school football back, get the other sports back that had been basically postponed until the spring. I thought it was great to see. I thought that it would have been much more effective maybe 2 months ago. And again, I realize that there's been some other states, Michigan for one. I know Colorado yesterday is going to reinstate fall sports. So I understand the timing. But to me, it was just unfortunate because I saw a video from that. I did not know about the rally at all until yesterday late morning when someone said, hey, you might want to check this out, which, I mean, I was thrilled. If you're doing something like that, and again, it's uncharted territories. I know the people that put that together last night certainly mean well, and I thought it was great to see, and it was a great turnout, but you got to get a little more media savvy. You know, I mean, you had an entire long weekend, holiday weekend. Nothing happens from Friday by noon until Tuesday morning in the real world. Obviously, that wasn't the case with Labor Day, where we had like 3 kids commit, but our world is totally different from the rest of the world these days. So, but again, I would have loved to have gotten a heads up on that, maybe a week or so heads up saying, hey, we're putting this together. I think you could have rallied more support. I think you could have gotten that message out there, certainly from the media standpoint, to let them know and maybe get actual news crew cameras there and try to get your message out there. And then again, I'll go back to, it would have been great to have that 2 months earlier. But again, I understand the circumstances. It's not a knock. And again, I applaud those kids and those schools and those organizers for getting that going. I know there's been talk of some other events being put together. I think it's great. Now, do I think it's going to have an impact? Yeah, I'll say it'll have an impact. I think eventually the governor's going to have to address those. Will we see a change? I just don't see it. I don't. I've lived here my entire life, 50 some years on this planet. I've lived in the state of Illinois the entire time. I know state government in this state moves at a glacial pace. I don't see it changing. I think the clock has run out on that, or continues to run out on that. I hope I'm wrong. I don't want to be Debbie Downer, but I'm also not going to lie to you. And that's a big part of this too that really concerns me, is parents are getting fired up, and they're excited, and they're on Twitter, and they're saying, hey, we can get this done. And I'm totally for that. I totally understand that. But on the flip side, you also have to be realistic with a lot of this stuff and understand that that ship sailed a while ago. And I don't see it coming back. And you know what? If it does come back, hey, I'll be the happiest guy in the entire state of Illinois. Trust me on that. But again, well-intended. I think some things could have been differently. Timing could have been different. Organization could have been different, hopefully better. Hopefully we all learn from this. And that's a part of the theme today I want to talk about, as well as that learning from everything that's gone on. So look at how this pandemic is shaken out. It started since March. We're now in September. We're still in it. I mean, on a lot of levels, not much has changed. I happen to live in Will County. Right now, I cannot go have dinner inside a restaurant in Will County. That's not good. Trust me. I was driving down Jefferson Street in Joliet, downtown, the heart of the west side of Joliet in the business district, driving down from Larkin all the way to 55. Big, long stretch. And this is just one city in one area. I would say probably half the storefronts are shuttered on Jefferson. And again, it's even before the pandemic, it was a kind of a strip that had been undergoing some transitions, certainly. But the amount of businesses that continue to shutter is frightening. And there's some great people and some great restaurants in this area that are on the verge or have already shut down. And so it's still, this thing isn't going away anytime soon. What I hope we learn from this, and this is going to spin out at the rate we're going here. I might end up doing a second video on this later in the week. What I hope we learn from this pandemic is we have some holes from a high school football side that I think we need to address. We need leadership. And again, I know that's a big, broad-based subject to discuss and tackle, but I want to touch on it a little bit. We have leaders in high school football here at Illinois. There is no doubt in my mind. We have great coaches all over the state of Illinois, large schools, Chicagoland, small schools, from Cairo to Rockford, from the Quad Cities all the way out to Danville on the far east end, up and down the state. There are great coaches. I know behind the scenes there's been some text groups that have talked about some things going on and how can we step up and how can we get things changed and try to just kind of come together. And to me, that's been a huge void in this state and in this sport for a long time now. We need a voice. It doesn't need to be one coach voice. It can be a collaboration of groups, of coaches that can come together. Look, you guys know as well as I do, I'm pretty confident to say I talk to more coaches in this state, high school-wise, than anyone else that I know. And it's not a brag. It's not a humble brag. It's just what I do every day. And there are guys that are more than capable of putting together thoughts and suggestions and working things out. And this is a big part of this now. When we talk about leadership and we talk about getting a collaborative group effort with coaches from across the state, the biggest issue in this society to this day, in my opinion, and this goes way beyond high school football, as we're to the point now where you really can't get all the adults in a group and come up with a common decision. We are in this era, in this generation of it's either my beliefs or your beliefs, and you either better go my way or screw you. And that's it. And things die on the vine. We got to find a way to be better in high school football in the state of Illinois. We have to be better. We need a singular voice. Example, the student rally that went on. Other states have done it. I think other states have done it more effectively now. Again, in the big picture, does it really change anything? In a lot of cases, no. But to me, also, perception is everything. And if we could have been organized a couple months ago, if we could have gotten larger groups of kids together, players together, say, hey, we're all going to take a field trip. We're going to take a field trip down to Springfield, and we're going to have a rally. You would have gotten support statewide. It would have gotten statewide media. It would have drawn a lot of attention. But that never happened here. It's happened in other states. And again, can we point to that one specific thing and say, wow, that really changed, that turned the tide? I saw the protests that they had in Michigan and the state capitol. There were more people in Wheaton than there were at that state capitol rally in Michigan. But it got played up in the media in Michigan. Michigan had it all over the place, had kids wearing their jerseys. So again, it's that kind of thing, that organizational ability. You know, when it comes to a situation like COVID right now, where, you know, we heard, okay, we're going to push the football back to the spring. Okay. I'm assuming IHSA made that decision. Okay. Then we hear, well, it's going to be a 7-game regular season. And just, anybody? McFly? Somebody? I don't know who came up with that. Was it IHSA on their own came up with that? Did they go to football advisory? I'm doubting that, because I think football advisory meets one time a year at the most. I don't know where, if it was IHSA that came up with that, where that idea came from. The point being, the coaches should have a big say in this. You know, and again, I am not ripping on the IHSA. It'd be very easy to do, but I'm not. But I think the coaches have to have more ownership here. I want the coaches to have a say. I want the coaches to be able to sit down and look at this and be told, okay, look, we basically have 9 weeks of a season to work with here. 7, you can go whatever you deem's best. It could be a 6-week regular season, a 3-week postseason. It could be a 5-week regular season and 4 weeks of postseason. Let the coaches figure out what's best. Can you come to an agreement? I don't know. What coaches do you get together for this? I don't know. But I'm more than willing to help any way I can. Look, I'm just a media guy. That's what I do, okay? The coaches, this is their sport. They are the mentors. They are the stewards of this sport in the state of Illinois. There are so many great coaches out there, and I guarantee you they are all willing to work and try to make it work. Darren sunk it down in East St. Louis. Trust me. He wants what's best for this sport better than anyone I know. You can go up and down the state, the Chad Hetlets, the Dave and Sarahs. You can go the Leonards, Kenny Leonard, Derek Leonard, Coach Jobs down at the Maroa. You've got just talented, smart, great coaches, best of intentions. Get a committee together somehow, sit down, get this thing worked out. And when these things are released, have a plan. Put forth a plan. Work in conjunction with the IHSA, and IHSA say, look, this is what we have. This is what we're planning on. Have the coaches take a look and dig into it. And I would feel much better about things if I see a group of coaches that are widely respected, that have been in this for a long time, if they come out and endorse something or they don't endorse something. We don't get that. We just get things thrown at us. So now here's another concern. So we're going to play in the spring. That's what we've been told. We're going to start, I think March 3rd was the first date. So first week of March. Okay, now we have 20 contact days in the fall. Wonderful. Those have already started. But has anyone seen any details on anything yet? Not really. That's another concern. Is this a case of the IHSA doing the best they could at the time and proverbially just kicking the can down the road? And now we better start looking at what we're going to do in the spring if that's a possibility. I don't know if spring football is even going to happen here. And the reason I say that is because, look, COVID is not going away. Whether you believe it, you don't believe it, political conspiracy, whatever you want to believe, and that's fine. Masking, no masking, hey, whatever you want to do. All I know is there's no real plan in place as far as a postseason. No one's heard anything. Scheduling, we've been told, and I've talked to coaches that have said, yeah, there's kind of plans in places. I know that our guy Steve Susi is collecting schedules on his own. I think he mentioned something around the 300 range that he has. But then there's always going to be pockets of issues. What about the Chicago Public League? How is their scheduling going to work? Is it going to be, more of a conference setup? And then the postseason, what's that going to look like? No one seems to know. And the scary thing is, guys and gals, no one's talking about it at all. Postseason, I've seen one postseason projected plan. Again, our guy Steve Susi. Thank God for Susi. At least he's throwing stuff out there and ideas out there. I don't see anything else. I haven't heard of anything else. I talked to coaches all over the state. No one has heard a word. That scares me right now. The other thing that no one else is talking about that needs to be talked about immediately, what about after the spring? Are we going to go directly? So let's say we play March, we end in late April. So theoretically, we can say the clock resets early May. Schools usually end up graduating late May. Some of them go into June. But as with our normal schedule, when you graduate and you finish school, you finish up the school year, you can go right into your 25 contact days. Is that going to stay in place? Are we going to maybe limit those contact days? Are we going to allow football to have a 9-game season, have 4 weeks off, and then roll right into training for the next season? Yes? No? Nobody knows. That has to get discussed. There's a lot of issues tied into that. Health issues, safety issues, and how we're going to handle it. Nobody knows. So, again, I trust in the coaches in this state. They know what's best for this sport. Not the media, no offense, but not the IHSA. It is the coaches in this state. They're the ones that should be guiding this. They are the ones that should be leading this. And again, we as a sport have got to find a way to come up with that group of coaches that can really knuckle in and put the work and listen. Hey, it's easy for me to say. These guys are already full-time teachers. They're also coaching and a lot of cases, multiple sports they're coaching. Very busy individuals. But let's be fair, in the age of Zoom, there are a lot of things to be done online that you couldn't have even remotely thought about doing up until the last few years. I think that could help. I think coaches want to help. And I think after going through this and for the most part being held hostage by COVID and by the state and everyone else, I'm hoping the coaches really kind of realize that, you know what, we need to take control of our sport here. We're the ones that if there's guidelines, if there's issues, fine. Throw us what the guidelines are. We'll come up with a plan. I think the sport would be better. I think a lot of things would be handled much better. And again, I give IHSA credit for all that they've done up till now. They've done their best, but no offense. I want the coaches to sign off on a lot of this stuff. So, okay, a lot of rants, a lot of thoughts, and there's more coming because, again, there's still a lot of things we need to get into and talk and discuss. But that's something that's really kind of been weighing heavy on me, especially yesterday when I saw the student rally, and I thought, boy, if we could have organized this a bit better, if we could have got on top of it a bit earlier, maybe it would have made a difference. Maybe not. We don't know. But boy, I certainly hope that comes out of this pandemic, that we understand that we need to up our game from a guidance, from a leadership standpoint, and really have the people that are impacted the most by this sport have say and have input. Look, They're all talking. Go follow Twitter. Coaches chime in every single day of their thoughts on this. That has to come together, and I think it has to come together for the best for this sport, to help this sport continue to grow. Look, we've survived Concussion Gate. We've been dragged through the mud, and look, there wasn't a whole lot to say during Concussion Gate. There really wasn't. People are throwing medical evidence at you and what have you. But this is the second time around now in another issue, and I think we either learn from this and get better, or the sport's going to, I think, go into a place that's not going to be very good at all, and no one's going to be happy about that. So there you go. Just getting a few things off my chest today. Appreciate you watching. Appreciate you subscribing. I know it's difficult. I know this pandemic's been hard on everybody, and for those of you that subscribe and hang in there, love you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. The work will continue. Never a dull moment here. Got a couple new things I'm launching this week. So again,